No, at the worst case scenario, an inspector finds it and they're out $400, which stinks. We don't like that. We want to avoid
Right.
that if we can. So that's the philosophy. Kill a deal before it takes money out of their pocket. There's always going to be one eventually if you're diligent. That will make sense.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is The Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Welcome to the Closing Table Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin C. McIntosh. And joining us on this episode, we are excited to talk to another real estate professional here to share some insights with us. We want to welcome Josh Anton to the Closing Table. How are you, Josh?
I'm outstanding, my man. How are you today?
Man, I'm doing just fine. Thank you so much for being here, sir. Accepting our invitation to pull up a seat to the closing table. We always like to acknowledge that.
Hey, I appreciate you for having me. Thanks very much. I'm excited to be here, chat with you today.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So let's get into it. But actually, before we actually get into it, let's be honest. I always like to start off by talking to the person before the professional. So, Josh, if you don't mind, tell us who you are outside of real estate, please.
Absolutely. I am a mediocre golfer. I'm a dad. I'm a dad to two sweet kids, Jackson and Amelia, 6 and 3. My babies. My wife Rachel. We've been married for 7 years and lived here for those 7 years. So we moved here same year we got married. So from about an hour south of here, former Air Force vet. So yeah, been all over the place. Definite interesting journey to get here. I live outside of Cleveland, about 25 minutes southwest of the city, in a place called Strongsville, baby. So represent the Mustangs today.
I love that. I love that, man. I love that. Hey, first and foremost, thank you for your service, sir.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yes,
thank you.
Our veterans on the show. Absolutely. But also a family man. I always like to highlight that because being a family man and a successful professional, it's not an easy task, man. So I just want to, send kudos to you on that too, man. Always respect family man. So family man and women, excuse me. So cool. Let's move into your actual profession, right? You just gave us a little bit of insight, Strongville and whatnot. Tell us a little bit about your business first and foremost before we get into your actual market. And first, I want you to start off with telling us how you even got to become a real estate professional.
Yeah, it's been a journey for sure. Prior life, I was a recruiter. I recruited talent for companies all over the world, mainly focused on the engineering space, and great career, 10 years, and didn't realize at the time that was like some of the best preparation ever for making this transition to real estate. And I'm sure we'll get to that. Right. But the main reason, going back to the family thing, was it was all about family in making that transition. I was in the corporate world for a long time, a lot of structure, a lot of positives there, but some things that hindered. My wife's a full-time nurse practitioner. She didn't get to check that phone very often, right? She's got set hours. And so we needed something as my babies got a little older, getting to school and all the logistics. I needed to not only find something that for me, entrepreneurial in nature, which is always something that I've had and wanted to do, but something that would award me the opportunity to have that flexibility and be there and not miss those things, right? They get sick. They're like petri dishes out there in those daycares. So being able to accommodate and take care of the family was number one priority. And I didn't realize all of the really cool things that came with it until I got into real estate and how rewarding it can be and how fun. So family was the reason, and then all the good stuff came with it, which is just terrific.
Nice. That just shows it was in divine order. You are where you're supposed to be. You found one reason or one why to be there, and then everything else seemed to fall into place also. I love to hear stuff like that.
Most definitely. Yeah.
All right, so I want to get into the actual market now. Let's get into describing your market. I want you to just describe it for the people like myself who may have never been there.
Okay. Well, it's not always gray skies and snow in Cleveland. I know you're Michigan. We're very similar. We have some nice
Hmm.
days here. Our market is it's funny. I get that question a lot, right? People know I'm a
Hmm.
realtor. What's the market like? What's the market? The Cleveland market, if you do the research, and even as I was just like pulling some numbers and data and things for this, you can find a million different stories to explain the Cleveland market or the Northeast Ohio market.
Mm.
And I can run a million stat points to you. But when you look at Cleveland, like Cleveland, you have Cleveland proper, like that Cleveland address, and then you have the way we're structured, all of the various suburbs that surround it, and the numbers are vastly different in terms of average sale price and days on market. Cleveland's known to be split that west side and east side, and we have east siders and west siders. I'm at the Cavs
Mm.
game last night, and on the jumbotron, it's like if you're from the east side yelling, everybody from the east side screaming. Then the west side, like that's our thing here. We
Oh
love that
wow.
east
Okay.
side west side rivalry.
Hmm.
Um, Machine Gun Kelly, he's an east sider. He's always talking about the east side. So we're definitely like a split city in a lot of ways there. And you go the west side and the culture and the things that it offers are different than that east side.
Yeah.
So you can be in a almost like a completely different world if you drive 15 minutes in this northeastern Ohio kind of corridor. It's funny.
When you mentioned that, I instantly related it to Detroit. Me being from Detroit, it's literally the same thing. East side, west side. It seems like two completely different cultures, two completely different cities, everything. And it's literally split by like Woodward. So I mean, you go from one side of Woodward to the other side of Woodward, and you're looking at like, am I in a completely different state? But that's what makes up the entire city's culture, though. Like that, even that division within the city still makes up the culture of the city, and you just take pride in that type of stuff. Yeah, we have our little jokes here and there about the east side, and the west side has jokes about the east side, etc., etc. But nonetheless, this is the city, this is the land, like you say in
Yeah,
Cleveland.
that's right,
Yeah,
right
yeah.
here, baby.
I just watched the Cavs game last night, and I saw that. So.
All right, man. I was there. We
I,
got that W last night. That was
yeah,
good.
yeah. Okay, look at you. Okay, that's
That's right. I'm
all
a
right.
sports
Well,
nut. So, yep,
yeah,
I'm always there.
yeah. There we go. Love to hear that, man. Well, since you are you embrace the pride of Cleveland, which I love. I always advocate for people embracing, the city where they're from. It has such a vibrant culture. How do you actually integrate that local flavor, that local culture into your practice as a real estate agent, transferring that into clients purchasing a home in the area?
That's an awesome question. Cleveland offers such a wide range of different things with arts, culture, sports, and recreation. There's something here for everybody. So,
Mm-hmm.
as you get to know, and we're very client focused, like the majority of your guests are, which I appreciate, right? So once you understand, what motivates or makes that, your client tick or your network tick, right? You can sort of pick and choose where you recommend or where you take them, right? If we've got somebody from out of town that's never been here, you get to learn a little bit about their background, what their hobbies are, right? Oh, he plays guitar. Well, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right? We got to go out there. Why don't
Mm.
we have a client, engagement session, and we can walk around and see stuff that you like, and it puts them into a really good environment. If you're a foodie, Cleveland's underrated from a food standpoint. We've got many
I've
famous
heard that
chefs from
before.
here. So, and I always try to take folks to local spots, my little dive bars or my little tavern here, and give them a taste of our local culture, right? We're so proud of it. We're a very prideful city, and I want to, integrate folks into that and embracing that. I think that's really fun. So we always try to do that, making a ton of recommendations for stuff that they don't just Google and see every day.
Nice, nice. I love that, man. Show them around, man. Show them, and that's every market has their unique thing, unique culture, the unique vibe, or even something there that makes them different from other markets. Like you said, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame being one of them. No other market has that. So if you are a fan of rock and roll, have your own band or play the guitar, certain instruments, you may be interested in visiting that or being close to it, or being in areas that have bars that have open mics, and you would also know that because you're very familiar with that area and that market. So it's important for people to get with those agents like yourself in those market who really know and embrace it. It's not like you know what I'm saying, just move there and now it's just business. Like you literally embrace and advocate for that Cleveland market. And I love to see it too, man. Love to see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So in regards to your family oriented personality and lifestyle, I love that. Like I said, you being a family man, all of our guests being a family man. How do you incorporate these family values in your real estate approach also, especially when you are dealing with clients who may have a family as well?
Oh, we love it. You know, my kids have gone on countless appointments and showings with me. They're so funny at
Really?
one point. Like every time, I mean, you know, with snow days and the world doesn't stop when, you know, it snows in Cleveland and the school's shut down. So
True.
my kids are no stranger. My wife too, right? Are no strangers to going and seeing homes and listing appointments. And you know, that's something that when I have you know, maybe a new client that I'll start talking with, I make that abundantly clear. We are always going to be family first and a family oriented. And I tell them, you might meet my kids, you might meet my wife, you might meet my dad. Who knows, right? Um, it's funny. My son went on like there was a stretch there where he was going kind of with me, and we were getting these homes, right? He was like my good luck charm. They're my little good luck charms.
Nice. Yeah.
And I always welcome my clients to bring your family, bring your friends, let them see this is a huge deal for you, right? You need that support. And hey, look, I got experience. You want to go look at this house? I'm going to get in the nooks and crannies too, but let me watch some little kiddos for you while you guys enjoy your tour. Eh, That's just all stuff that I don't know. It's just
Hmm.
a natural thing. I can't imagine not being that way. That's who we are truly. So family first, bring them all. I'll bring mine. We'll have a party. It's a good time.
I love that. And you know what? I like that a different approach because some people could see that as being a distraction to the transaction. If we're being quite honest, right? Whether you bring your kids as an agent or they bring their kids, sometimes they can say that's just a distraction. They'll get in the way, start messing with other things that they'll take away our attention from what we really are here for. So for you to incorporate, not only incorporate it, but encourage it, I think that is very, very important with your values of being family centered. That's a great example. And when I saw that and read that in your bio, I said, man, we got to talk about this because this is a key characteristic everyone should know about you as an agent. For sure. For sure. It makes them more comfortable if they have to bring their kids, for sure.
Absolutely. And pro tip out there, bring coloring books. I get
Mm.
one of my
Ooh,
previous
good point.
clients, his wife makes like custom bracelets and stuff, and she made me like a little bracelet with the logo on it and a house and different colors, and I just scooped a bunch of those and I keep them in the truck, right? When the kiddos come, it's
Nice.
like, hey, you know, you give them a little something, you give them a coloring book and let them sit something to ease because you're right, it can be distracting for sure, and we're on a mission, right? The mission
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
we gotta find all the nooks and crannies, right? Risk
Mm-hmm.
management and identifying things that you know could be problematic, and so it's a fine line, but you can do it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
just come prepared, and
Yeah.
everything will be good.
Man, that's hey man, you are a prepared agent. If you encourage them to bring the kids, they show up and then you pulling out coloring books for them, let them go sit down somewhere. Yo, that's genius though. That's genius. You keep the kids. That's like when they bring out the little kids mats and the crayons at the restaurant. Your kid is over
Mhm.
there just coloring on the mat, just minding their business. It is a great way. That great. Okay, I see what you're doing. Look, I see what you're doing,
That's
Josh. All
right.
right. All right, so you also are very well versed in home construction, risk assessment when it comes to these different investments and capital expenditures. Beautiful, adds value, right? So let's talk about a situation where these specific skills and knowledge actually came in handy for a client that was bordering purchasing maybe some type of investment property.
Yeah, I mean, our investors are on a global scale, so some are here local, some aren't. So in a lot of cases, you know, we're going and investigating these homes on a client's behalf we may have never even met before. Maybe we've had a Zoom
Mm-hmm.
call or so there have been countless. sometimes I've labeled myself as like the grim reaper of investment deals because I am very picky about what's going on inside the home, and I'm pointing everything out, right? And sometimes that
Uh-huh.
can you can look at that and say, "Gosh, like it's going to be so hard to find something," but in the end, that philosophy, that amount of information, it builds rapport, it builds value,
Mm-hmm.
and when that right one comes, you'll know because if you had 10 that were countless items, boom, 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 structure, foundation, right? We got water, we got seepage, we got what this and that. Next one, I'm sitting, I'm like, man, I can't really nitpick this one too much. This is really
Uh-huh.
solid, guys. Let's talk. Let's
Uh-huh.
boil the numbers down now. Let's really get into it. Make sure this is a sound investment because we found sort of a diamond, in the rough here, so to speak, and there's a lot of merit here. So that's really how we go about building that foundation. I mean, I've had clients that have been really super excited about a home, and we've gotten into it, and it looks good. And I get back home, and I'm like, I missed something here, right? I didn't check this area. So we got to go
Mm.
back. And I look and I say, I'm glad I came back because I was able to find this. Or, hey, it's a rainy day. It wasn't raining yesterday. Let's go see what that basement's like, right? And
Yep.
I had
Yep.
that actually.
Yes,
That's a
sir.
very good story from like a month ago. We saw a house, beautiful sunny day. Everything looked good. We were feeling great. Next day, pouring. And I'm like, this is the first time they're buying their investment home. They don't live here. Let's go see what the rainy day has. And lo and
Mm-hmm.
behold, we were able to
Oh man.
identify there was some water seepage issues in there, and we avoided. At the worst case scenario, an inspector finds it and they're out $400, which stinks. We don't like that. We want to avoid
Right.
that if we can. So that's the philosophy. Kill a deal before it takes money out of their pocket. There's always going to be one eventually if you're diligent. That will make sense for them.
Man, absolutely. I started to learn that as I was talking to different agents of how important it is to go see that property at night, go see it when it's snowing, go see it when it's raining. You may think, let me stay inside. This is not the time to go look. We want to wait for a perfect sunny day when we can drive. No, no, because trust me, I found out. I mean, and you usually find out when it's raining if there's a leakage. I mean, that is, I almost feel like you should only go see it if it's raining at this point because, I mean, I'm being serious though, because
Yeah.
I didn't find out until, and when we were renting, I had everything set, getting things set. We got a big basement, putting things in the basement. Oh, yeah, I got a lot of storage. Let me put my personal things here. Only for the first day to rain for my basement, not to completely flood, but some type of water seepage, a lot of my stuff get damaged. I'm like, oh my God, if I would have known this a long time ago. So going to see it, man, I just love that because we need agents to call you when it's raining or doing some type of weather precipitation, so you to check out that same property in that condition. That's so smart, man, and it's underlooked. I just got hyped when you said that because I think that's very important.
Rain boots, rain jacket, and four-wheel drive, baby. That's the key to
Yeah.
success here.
Love it. Well, since you said you do investments all across the world, let's talk about the resources and the tools that you have in helping clients invest on a global scale, right? So you have this great investment team, full service approach. So how are your tools to help someone who may be purchasing from out of the country or whatever the case may be, international purchase? How does your tools such as virtual tours and other things come into play with helping your client make that decision? Do you have any specific or recent examples of that?
Yeah. Well, YouTube has been a unbelievable resource for us. Not just putting video and content out there and acquiring business that way, but what it's done is
Mm-hmm.
it's given us some tools to the technology to learn how to use the technology, like lighting and how does a video look and uploading. So, us creating a YouTube channel in a way prepared us for this shift in our business to be very investor friendly and all encompassed, like a one stop shop type deal. So it maybe alleviated some of that learning curve of when we're doing a virtual tour with someone in France, for instance. We just had one, and we kind of understand how to take that video so they can get the full scale, realistic scope of what that home looks like and the audio and how we upload and edit it. So those tools are really important because you want them to see the good and the bad when you're doing that tour for them, and providing the right commentary and verbiage so they can understand and give them peace of mind. They're making a big purchase from across the pond or a state over. And then, I've got tools of the trade, right? A flashlight, electrical testers, the little things that you can do that
Yeah.
are a step beyond that. You just kind of get some insight. They might not even be big deals, right? You got an ungrounded plug. Well, we can, yeah, that could be corrected. Let me talk to you about the cost and what that is. So we've acquired all of those tools, and we've learned how to use them. We've used YouTube to better understand home construction, just so we can articulate and explain it to people. And we don't know it all, but listen, we strive every day to try to figure out more and more so we can provide. Education's power, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I just for clarification purpose, when you say you use YouTube, you mean as in you create content for YouTube and let your international investors look at that, or are you saying you learn different ways to kind of get the properly display listings to international client? I just want clarification on that when you say you use YouTube.
Yeah. So we use YouTube in a lot of different ways, from our research and just catch all, right? How to do this, like
Right,
learning our craft. But for us, we created a YouTube page
right,
for
right,
that,
right.
for investors specifically. And it's
Mm,
not just about us acquiring business from that. It's really used as an education tool. Cleveland has some very unique and specific things that not a lot of other areas have when it comes to
okay.
lead paint compliance and point of sale
Mm,
inspections, and a lot of nuances that you got to really dig deep to find. Our goal was to use the YouTube platform to educate and spread that knowledge out. So when you call us or you invest here in this city, you already kind of got some of that out of the way in your experience with it. So it gets you closer to the goal of buying, right? And so we use that platform to help educate and educate the world out there about what Cleveland investing is and what you need to know. So it's been a
yeah,
great tool
okay.
for us in a lot of different
Okay.
ways.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I 100% agree. I see the exact same similarities with the Closing Table podcast, for instance. We like to have our different guests on to talk about different markets, to educate our audience on different things. Now, while we may not necessarily serve, the direct home buyer or seller per se, there's still some great information that they can get and they can learn here and take that to their local real estate agent that they may be dealing with, etc. And the same, I can see the same thing for you. Hey, if you have someone looking, where do I get started? I'm looking to invest in a home. I'm looking to do house hacking. I'm looking to do this and that. Refer to our YouTube page. Get a little bit of information there. Let us know what you think. And if you have any other questions from there, let me as the agent fill you in from that point. I love that. And that's why we even create platforms like the audio platforms, podcasts, that thing, because you can get a lot of people get information through podcasts, but the YouTube help because it adds the visual to it too, and a lot of people are visual learners. Very important.
Myself included. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'll
Completely
bring guests on.
understand.
We'll bring a property manager on. And when somebody calls and says, "Hey, do you know a property manager?" I say, "Yeah, check out this video. You can see who they are, how that." And then you give them a call. You kind of feel like you know them a little bit. It's a bit of an icebreaker. So it's a fantastic tool. We
Oh
we love
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you really using it. Oh yeah, that's what's up. That's good to hear.
Absolutely.
That's good to hear, man. So while we are dealing with clients and this huge transaction that they're going through, whether they're buying or selling, there's usually a lot of emotion that's involved in here, right? So you being, which from just our conversation on and off camera, seem like a very fun-filled person, very animated. So how do you use your wit, your humor, some type of joy, bring some joy to your client's life when they are going through these emotional roller coasters of buying and or selling property? You have any examples?
Yeah, I'm naturally just kind of a goofball. I've always been that way.
Me
It's
too.
it's who I am, and I've learned to just embrace it. And when you embrace it, it brings the guard down a little bit. It's funny.
Hmm.
I think like when I thought about getting into real estate, I knew a little bit, but not a whole lot. I envisioned myself like, all right, I'm going to buy some suits. I'm going to go buy a Beamer. I'm going to be pulling up. Like that was what I envisioned it to be like. And No, that is not even close to what it's like. And I learned really
Right.
quickly, and maybe it's a Cleveland thing. I don't think so. I think that can translate in many different markets. But
Mm-hmm.
I find that I build rapport and relationships through relatability and through laughter. And it doesn't have to be, even though it's serious, it's the biggest purchase you're ever going to make.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be that stuffy and that serious. And education doesn't have to come with boredom. So we've made it a priority to be our complete absolute selves throughout all areas of the transaction with our co-brokes, with our clients, with our title company, with all of that. And it brings that guard down and allows you to have maybe some difficult conversations that don't get so heated or so dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to me, it's just a philosophy that it makes everything easier when you're just yourself and you're having a lot of fun. And
Man.
it's not like anything official, but like we want to make real estate fun. That's it. Like that's our unofficial slogan. And my business partner Dave and I said that from day one. If we're not having fun and our team isn't having fun and our clients aren't enjoying themselves, we're doing something wrong. It's not what we want as our core. It's
Mm-hmm.
super crucial, and we can still do that while providing top notch service and consulting to our clients. You don't have to lose that just because you can laugh a little.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the way that you put that too. The fact that education can be fun. The first thing I thought of when you said that, as you were talking, I'm thinking STEM programs for kids, science, technology, engineering, math. A lot of these programs that they have, science centers, they are educating kids, but it's in a fun way that they can understand. They can learn about inertia and momentum and space and all types of things, and they'll be learning while they don't even realize that they're learning. So I just thought about that because I took my family to a science center and I learned a lot about different things and I was having fun. And that's not to say that that can't translate into almost every aspect of life. It's just maybe someone hasn't taken the creativity to turn that educational point into something that you can learn in a fun way. Soon as you were saying that, that came to my mind. I was like, some things, like I don't know why I was thinking. I was thinking like some things are almost meant to be boring. Like how can you make real estate transactions or knowledge fun? But then I thought about, yes, you can. It's all in your approach. It's all in your delivery, and then you kind of want to tailor things to the audience. You want to read the room too, right? Not everybody's going to receive things the same way. So I imagine you would do the same, even if you are a goofball. You're dealing with someone who you feel like is not in a playful mood, maybe you're not going to be as goofy with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that takes a certain level of intelligence also. So I love embracing being yourself, man. I love that point that you got through too.
Yeah, reading the room is always crucial in any sort of client
Man.
engagement type of environment. You have to be able to know when you can push and pull a little bit. And look, sometimes you can get somebody who's maybe a little stuffy or a bad day, and maybe they need a little bit of just
Yeah,
goofiness,
yeah,
right? And
yeah, yeah.
uh,
Good point.
but yeah, you do have to cater and change a little bit. Like, look, I've got suits; they look nice. I don't love wearing them, but if I have to make somebody feel a little more comfortable, we're fine. We're adaptable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Reading the
we
room
try to
as a
have as
real
much fun
estate
as we can.
agent. Yeah,
That's
no
right.
pun intended. I like that. I like that. Just came to it. All right, dude, take some time to inspire me and our audience, Josh. We want to know, is there a movie, a book, quote, philosophy that you kind of live by, that you kind of embrace a lot, that may have shaped your life personally and or professionally, that you could share?
One of your guests had the Forrest Gump one. I think it was Bethany, maybe, which is terrific. But
Yeah.
mine, it goes back to I'm a 17 turning 18-year-old in boot camp down
Mm.
at Lackland Air Force Base. And one of the first things they teach you is the core values of the Air Force. And those core values are integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all you do. And
Mm.
you memorize those like day one. And as a young kid, I got it. I had to know it. I didn't realize how that would apply to family and your personal life and an eventual career path. And those words have I've never lost those. I've only learned to really embrace them and they're so applicable in real estate and anywhere.
Yeah.
But in real estate, if you just do those three things, you will be successful. You will build a reputation. You will get a referral based business. And you won't find yourself in a whole lot of hot water or trouble because you're doing the right thing. And it's not just chasing the dollar, even though that's a byproduct of what we do. But
Correct.
that is the core of it. And if you build your business on that, I know it wholeheartedly, you will succeed. And that's it. And if we lose that, we're done. We can't do this anymore. The foundation is broken. So it's a non-negotiable for us.
Ooh, love that. Love that, man. And that is a perfect place to land the plane, man. Excellence, integrity, service to others, man. I think we all should kind of keep that in mind. It kind of falls in line with the golden rule with treat others how you want to be treated. You know, be yourself, be true to yourself, be true to your values, and treat others the same way, man. Like treat others with that respect. So I gotta applaud you. Thank you for dropping that gem for us, Josh, and thank you for pulling up a chair on the closing table. We appreciate it. At this point, if you have any last words and or want to tell people how to reach out to you, the floor is yours.
Excellent. I really appreciate it today. I've enjoyed our conversation. You've got a great thing going. Keep it going. I'll be tuning in. If you do want to contact me and talk a little Northeast Ohio, Josh at thegreathouseteam.com is where you can find me 24/7. I'm always ready to chat.
There it is. Thank you so much again, Josh. We appreciate you. For our YouTube audience watching right now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, do us both a favor. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. Make sure you also subscribe and share the content. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or any other podcast platform, please do the same. Give us that like, give us that 5-star rating, and subscribe for our latest content. Josh, we're going to leave our audience with something to think about on the way out the door. So this is for you. Whenever you are evaluating potential investment properties, what factors do you consider when actually thinking about your potential return on investment? Don't tell us now. Please leave it in the comments below. But besides that, we'll talk to you next time.